The Detroit Lions have added new faces to their offensive line in the 2025 NFL Draft and beyond. The Lions selected two interior offensive linemen, first Georgia's Tate Ratledge and second LSU's Miles Frazier, and then added another offensive lineman in Mason Miller, an undrafted free agent out of North Dakota State. Here to discuss the Lions' retooling of their offensive line, the youth movement, is Lions On Site publisher John Macroom. John, what do you make of all these moves from the Detroit Lions to add young talent to an offensive line?
Absolutely. It all starts in the trenches for most NFL teams. And for the Detroit Lions, it wasn't good enough to lend to playoff success in 2024. And you realize that the Detroit Lions made their name early in the tenure of Brad Holmes when he selected Penei Sewell. And so you look at these athletes that they brought in, Tate Ratledge, just look at what he can bring to the table. I think both Tate Ratledge and Miles Frazier have a potential to start right away. The thing that I like about the selections is that they're young, gritty football players that can play multiple spots. You have opportunities. Brad Holmes indicated they're going to try to cross-train these young prospects. And you look at it from the perspective of the Detroit Lions, you have to maintain a certain level of a standard because you have a big investment with Jared Goff. And unfortunately, Graham Glasgow and maybe Colby Sorsdahl did not develop to the degree that you would like. And Graham Glasgow, the veteran, had an injury-plagued season. So you always have to look to the guard positions. And I think the Detroit Lions potentially added two starters. And then you look at Mason Miller, I think as well, a culture fit that's going to have a strong chance to compete at training camp and make this roster. Look out for Mason Miller. I think an underrated signing that the Detroit Lions were able to make as an undrafted free agent. So look, Christian, you understand that when you have running backs like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, making sure that you open up holes and you battle these strong, talented defensive linemen is going to be key. And I like the versatility. I like the ratings. And in the end, Christian, the one thing that you're starting to see is Detroit Lions like athletic linemen, ability to move in pass protection, ability to be stout and maintain their responsibilities. And I do think that the Lions in the long term are going to find success with the likes of three young offensive linemen in Christian Mahogany, Tate Ratledge, and Miles Frazier. My goodness, the future looks bright for the Detroit Lions offensive line.